The first 10 games of the year, it's my understanding they're quite difficult.
Yeah.
And so you wanted to make a bet on, what was the bet exactly?
Well, I was gambling that that the Oilers would be below 500 for the first 10 games.
Okay.
If they are above 500, then I'll buy you a coffee, but not a specialty coffee.
No, that was if you won. If I win, I would definitely like a specialty drink.
All right.
Okay, good. Let's shake on that.
Hi, welcome to Starbucks. We're going to get started for you.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
If I were any better, I'd be dangerous. What's the biggest drink that you have?
Our venti is the largest for our hot drinks, and then we have a Trenta for our cold drinks.
Oh, great. I'll have a venti, oh, it's an expensive specialty drink. Pumpkin spice latte, please.
Okay, for sure. Was there anything else I could grab for you this morning?
Does it cost extra for a shot of espresso?
Sorry, and an extra shot of espresso?
Yeah, does that cost extra?
Yes, it costs 80 cents extra.
Oh, excellent. I'll have that, and then I better balance that out with an extra pump of syrup.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so good! Once it hits your lips, it's so good!
Okay, so let's talk about the Oilers weekend now. I was really busy yesterday, so I was only able to watch the first 6 minutes of the third period of the Oilers-Hawks game, so I don't really think it's fair for me to analyze that game. Instead, I'm going to take a broader look at the first 10 games of the season.
Seriously? You need to burn off some of this caffeine before you do this blog. In case you haven't noticed, there's always like a full load of laundry on the rack behind you in almost every single blog. Can you fold that, please?
Good idea. You know, I'm obviously all hopped up on caffeine, but I'm also pretty high on the Oilers' start to the season. To be 6-3-1, considering their schedule, and the 0-2 start, is pretty stunning.
I didn't see that one coming.
I think with the way that the first 10 games of the season have played out, it has a lot of us Oiler fans wondering, what is so different about this team that on paper is almost the exact same lineup as last year? Well, for starters, Nuge is playing the best offensive hockey since his rookie season. Much like Elias Pettersson of the Canucks, Nugent Hopkins was rushed into the NHL because his skill level was so high, even though he wasn't physically ready to play an 82-game season against men. Finally, at the age of 25, he looks like the player the Oilers thought they were drafting first overall in 2011. Milan Lucic is back to being an effective player. This is just my opinion, but I think that with the pressure of having to produce in the top 6 off of his shoulders, he looks much more comfortable in his third-line role alongside Ryan Strome. Oscar Klefbom is playing more minutes than any Oiler defenseman since Lauren Pronger's husband was on the team. Yes, it's been 12 years, and I still refuse to mention him by name. Don't judge me. Watching his body of work over the course of the last 3 years, it's very obvious he wasn't healthy at all last season. Him and his defense partner, fellow Swede Adam Larsson, have stabilized the blue line. Larsson had a difficult season last year, dealing with injury and the loss of his father in February. But it seems that people are too busy stewing over Taylor Hall to even notice that Larsson was an all-star at the World Hockey Championships in May and has continued his strong play into this season. Finally, Cam Talbot, despite letting in the first shot of the game twice already this year and having basically the same save percentage, is making timely saves this year to keep the Oilers tied or in the lead. Mikko Koskinen's performance against Nashville was about as pleasant of a surprise as finding a $20 bill in a jacket you haven't worn in a year. But the biggest single difference from last year to this year, and from everything up to the third period of the Jets game, is confidence.
I have confidence that spring will come again. Besides which you see, I have confidence in me.
I mean, it was clear that last season the Oilers lost their confidence and they never regained it. I don't care what anybody says. With the parity in the league right now, the psychological aspect of the game can be the difference between winning and losing.
Believe. I know that sounds like a cat poster, but it's true.
You know, in conversations with fellow hockey fans over the years, I think I've said this pretty much every year since the lockout in 2005. But I believe that the team that wins the Stanley Cup is not necessarily the best team in the league. It's the team that's playing the best hockey when the playoffs roll around. That's what happens when you have so much parity. Just look at Vegas last year as a prime example. Now, with this in mind, despite the roster flaws, the coaching issues, and the management failures, the division title is very much up for grabs for anyone in the Pacific Division. To be perfectly honest with you, I haven't even really looked at the Oilers' schedule beyond the first 10 games of the season, because coming into it, I felt that if they couldn't keep their heads above water, then the rest of the games weren't really going to mean a whole heck of a lot. But they did. And I can't wait to see what next month has in store for us. I'll see you next time.